Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, I'm Balisa Mcimbi and this is a faith and lifestyle based YouTube channel. I'm excited to be back with episode 2 of the Women in the Bible series, which we are piloting for Women's Month in South Africa. If you didn't check out last week's video, be sure to check it out. I will link it and other recent uploads in the description box below for ease of reference. So, I just want to start off by thanking you guys for continuing to support this channel. I always emphasize that because I really do appreciate the support. So please keep those subscriptions coming. So for those who didn't join us last week, we spoke about Deborah and Jael, whose joint story is found in Judges chapters 4 and 5, and some lessons from the courage they displayed in times of distress. It was quite a cool story, and I think the women's stories that we're highlighting are linked in some way or another, so please do check it out. For today's video, we're going to be speaking about two special women whose stories start off a bit hectic, or I don't know what word to use, but are now considered beacons of hope. The first one is Rahab. Who is Rahab anyway? Her story is documented in the book of Joshua, but she's also referred to in the New Testament as well, which we'll touch on a little bit later. She is very unconventional, but I thought there were some nice stories or lessons rather that we could draw from her story, which also highlights that ministry takes different forms and just the wonder of who God chooses to use and how he chooses to use them. She was known to be a prostitute, a harlot. So you can imagine that her reputation was probably tarnished and she was looked down upon in the society. Remember what we highlighted before, that women's significance, or rather their stories, were often linked to men. So imagine the situation she's in. She's not acknowledged, she's not recognized because she's a woman, and then she also has the stigma on top of that, that she's a prostitute. So mgowo.com, my girl was going through the most. She is part of the genealogy of Jesus and one of very few women who are mentioned in this genealogy. It wasn't very conventional for women to be mentioned in these things, so for her to be featured in the genealogy of an entire Messiah is quite the big deal. That's the ultimate recognition a woman with a dark history could get. We can see that Jesus chooses whom he wants to use, and he can turn anyone's story around. So it's not our place to conclude based on what we've seen or what we think we know, because what matters is how those people impact other people's lives for good. So her story comes to light when Joshua had sent 2 spies to basically go check the coast over at Jericho, where she was based, while the rest of them were camped or parked at Shittim. And their enemies had caught wind that they were in the vicinity, and although Rahab was not an Israelite, she despised their enemies as well, and she basically offered them a place of refuge, so to speak, and when their enemies came looking for them, she hid them in her house. She had apparently heard that God delivers his people and he saves them in times of trouble, so she basically wanted to secure a future for herself. She made a deal with the spies that in exchange for keeping them safe and hiding them in her house, her family and herself would be spared. This was granted and they kept to the end of the deal. But I just feel that the way she went about things was also a bit sneaky. She told a lie to make ends meet. There's a guy from my church who's once said, if we can't make ends meet, he's praying for God to at least make them face each other or something like that. So I feel like Sis Rahab was trying to make ends face each other, and she did. A girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do. As many of you would know, she went on to marry an Israelite, the beloved Boaz that everybody likes to speak about, and she's also then further mentioned in Hebrews 11 as one of the heroes of faith. Genealogy of Jesus Christ, like heroes of faith, she is doing the most. The second lady I want to talk about is the Samaritan woman, or the woman at the well, which we all love to sing about. Her story is found in John chapter 4. I'm not going to dwell too deeply on it because I imagine most people would be familiar with New Testament stories. She was known to be a promiscuous girl, or a prostitute, so her reputation was quite tarnished as well. Many people, including other women, did not want to associate with her, so she was quite the outcast. She meets Jesus at this well, and he asks her to draw water for him from the well. She's quite shook by this because their very interaction was frowned upon, and many people would not acknowledge her or want to speak to her and just associate with her. So yeah, this whole thing comes as a shock for her. And he responds by telling her that she's had 5 husbands and the one she has is not her husband. What? And that basically spoke to her promiscuity. He then goes on to say that if she drinks from the water he has to offer, she will thirst no more, which basically meant that if she accepted him, she would no longer have this emptiness that she was trying to fill by being with all of these men. She goes on to tell other people in the area that she's met this great man who has told her amazing things, and she proclaims Jesus as the Messiah. Look at God. I thought there were nice similarities in the stories of these 2 women, Rahab and the woman at the well. They had lived hectic lives. They had lifestyles that rendered them second-class citizens in the community, or they were outcasts and people didn't really want to associate with them, like I had mentioned. But we see them moving from those very dark paths to a place of faith and trusting in God. They were also quite instrumental in carrying the gospel to others because of opening themselves up and the experiences that they had. Others came to know of Jesus or were saved because of them. And we see Rahab in the genealogy of the Messiah, and we see the Samaritan woman being known as one of the first mass evangelists because she went on to call others to meet this great man that she had had an encounter with. No one is beyond God's reach, and no one is beyond God's redemption. We see it in the lives of these women. Their past did not stop them from accepting God's saving grace, and their lives literally went on as though their past never happened. Like I said, they chose to acknowledge God's saving grace and they accepted it. Rahab literally bargained with her life. She could have gotten into so much trouble, and she could have gotten possibly killed if she was caught for trying to protect the Israelites. But she held on to the knowledge of God as a God who protects and saves his people, and that was enough for her to go on. These women stepped out in faith, and they chose to venture on their own faith journey, as their people were not people who followed or acknowledged God. No matter how bad your past is, if you make the decision to forsake everything and accept Jesus, things can still turn around for you because God loves us all. I thought it was particularly relevant to feature these 2 women in this series because they were shamed and they were just, outcasts because of the lives that they had lived. And even today, women are often put to shame because of their past and their sexual history in particular, when there is no mention of the people they've been involved with. Even in church circles, women are known to be branded, or there's like this mark put on them linked to the people that they have been with. And sometimes people find themselves not wanting to leave relationships that are a mess because they don't want to continue to build on this brand and continue to be marked as such. If that is a situation you find yourself in, girl, get out of there. Honestly, God is the one who decides your future and your story if you allow him to do so. Your past does not determine your future. We see it in the stories of these women who started off in quite a dark situation, but at the end of the day, they are known to be these beacons of hope, and there's lessons that we can draw from their stories. Jesus literally took them out of the pit and elevated them to a point of status, and he can do the same for you. So yeah, guys, that's today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, comment down below letting me know what resonated with you, or just any comments, anything that was sparked in your mind as you were watching. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.